Today we're going to talk about 3 side hustles that require no prior experience, no college degree, and also have the potential to become full-time jobs. And did I mention that they're paying out 6-figure salaries? Welcome back to TQM, the quintessential millennial channel, where we talk about all things millennials with an emphasis on finance. If you are new around here, make sure you smash the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and also comment down below and let me know at the end of the video if any of these side hustles resonated with you. Now, before we begin today's video, I want to mention and preface by saying one thing, and it's what you see on the screen right now, and that is this concept and idea that Jack Butcher posted on Twitter about 3 years ago, and that is the permissionless apprenticeship. Oftentimes people think that they need to go out and be proactive to seek jobs by, again, emailing different employers, asking different individuals, hey, can I do some work for you? No, that isn't necessarily the best approach, especially in 2023. So let's see what he wrote here. He says, I had a chat earlier this week, mind you, this was back in 2020, and this came up, and it was this Matthew Kobach, and he said, stealing this from Jack Butcher, be their intern, do not need to apply, don't need to ask, just start doing stuff for them. If you want to catch the attention of someone you admire, give yourself a job working for them. Keyword there, give yourself a job. Most people's first instinct is to ask, but it's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. You asking is actually making more work for the person you want to work for. And lastly, and I'll end it here, write your own job description. Video editor, cut up their best talks into shareable clips. Writer, organize their tweets into a book outline. Designer, illustrate their ideas. And I think that's going to be a great way to transition into the 3 side hustles I want to talk about today. So we're going to start with number 1, and that is a thumbnail designer. And so we talked about this idea of this permissionless apprentice. And honestly, for me, when I was looking for someone to work for me as a thumbnail designer and video editor, I thought it was going to be a headache going on things like Fiverr or Upwork, all these different freelancing websites, and not finding exactly what it is that I was looking for. But little did I know, someone would send me a message on Discord with a ready thumbnail with basically the idea of a video that I would have done in the future based off of the content that I was already producing. And I was in shock. It was so perfect. And he told me, hey, I made this for you. Let me know what you think of it. And I ended up utilizing it. One thumbnail that he sent turned into 2 to 4, 10, 20, 100. And I'm talking pretty much a full-time job as a thumbnail designer for me. And a lot of people are looking at it as, well, thumbnail designers on Fiverr and these different freelancing websites are only making $10 per thumbnail. But no, that isn't the case. If you go look at different content creators, especially on YouTube, and I'm talking big content creators, you will see that oftentimes they are paying people $50, $100, $150, maybe even $200 per thumbnail. Mr. Beast said that he spends over $5,000 to maybe sometimes $10,000 on a single thumbnail. Because believe it or not, sometimes more work goes into the thumbnail and title than the content of the video. Because with how YouTube works, it's the most important aspect of it. But again, the best part about being a thumbnail designer is you don't have to have any prior experience, and you can teach yourself how to utilize tools like Canva or even Photoshop. So again, if you haven't heard of this thumbnail designer idea, make sure you go check it out, because I think as an untapped side hustle, it's one that has the potential to grow into a full-time job. Now, let's go to number 2, and that is a virtual assistant. And all the 3 that I'm talking about today are ones that I personally utilize on a daily basis. So I can tell you that these do pay out pretty well. So you see here on Indeed Jobs, they say that virtual assistant salary in the United States on average pay out $75,000. But on the high side, $127,000, $130,000 is not too far-fetched. And the best part is, again, I mentioned earlier, all of these jobs could be part-time or again as a side hustle, but you can quickly turn them into a full-time job, and you can do them all from the comfort of your home, which makes it so readily accessible and available for everybody watching this video right now. Now you might ask, what does a virtual assistant do? So if you have any type of organizational skills, or somebody who again is really good at scheduling, that's basically what you would do for another person that might have a very busy schedule. Companies, individuals, YouTubers, content creators, people who don't really want to waste their time and energy on administrative tasks. And I'm talking again, management of their emails, scheduling different appointments, going on to meetings. One of my least favorite things to do every single day is meetings. Meetings with sponsors, meetings with different brands, meetings with different individuals, because it's very time consuming. What I personally prefer is, again, having someone on my team go through the list of different companies that might approach me and find the good ones. Because oftentimes I don't work with anyone that just approaches me, but instead, if there's somebody who seems exceptional or has potential, then I'm like, okay, now let's set up a meeting collectively and let's collaborate. So again, I think as a virtual assistant, if you have any type of interest in helping someone else organize their day-to-day schedule, trust me, you can be proactive and go out there, send LinkedIn messages to different smaller companies, even mom and pops that are local, and say, hey, do you need any help with organizing your day-to-day? If so, I can be that person for you. So that was number 2, a virtual assistant. And last but not least, number 3, and I think this one here is probably the one with the most potential, and you can be anybody as long as you have some idea about social media, and that is a social media manager. And to my surprise, social media managers actually made a lot more money than I thought. And the best part about being a social media manager is that you don't have to only manage one company or one person. I personally know somebody who helps me with certain social media type things that is working with 10, 20, 30 content creators. So with that being said, you see that it says here, the average back in August of 2022, based on this bestcolleges.com article, that social media managers are making about $54,000 a year. Now, with that being said, if you multiply that across 5, 10, 15 different people you can be managing, if you crunch those numbers, you can see how quickly that salary can jump up. And similar to a virtual assistant, a social media manager would instead focus on smaller things online. So instead of focusing on scheduling and administrative work, you're managing someone's Twitter, you're managing somebody's Instagram, different social media platforms, and just keeping them active on those platforms, because believe it or not, celebrities for the most part don't really control their own social media. They don't have time to do it. Athletes, people of that caliber typically don't have the time to do things like keeping up with their socials. So with that being said, it creates a job opportunity for those of you that are maybe watching right now. So again, try to take advantage, and these don't have to be full-time jobs. I hope today's video did kind of spark some concepts and ideas for you to start maybe thinking about ways to make income on the side. That is the whole purpose of TQM, is bringing you ideas for 2023 and beyond on ways to make money, because we know with inflation and how the job market is and the economy, jobs aren't as readily available, nor are we getting paid enough to outpace what's happening with inflation. So with that being said, I do hope that you found the content today useful. If you did, please smash that like button down below. But that's all I had for you guys today. So until next time, everybody, take care.